Hi everyone. It's so nice to see you after one day. So tomorrow is 4th of July. Be safe. So you already start at 6.7.
Yeah, on the promise.
Okay. 6.7 is a what problem, right?
Yes.
So you already started on what problems? That's good. So for what problem? Should I put the deadline next week Monday, or I should give you 1 week? 1 more week to do the what problem. We're going to finish what problem today because I'm going to go only 4 questions, I think, from the what problem. I already posted the review sheet on Brightspace, and I realized that yes, we'll be able to finish chapter 6 and go to chapter 7. So the review sheet is based on chapter 6 and a little bit of chapter 7. So today I'm planning to finish 6.6 and 6.7, and most likely we'll have enough time to start 7. If you don't have enough time, then you'll just start 7 next week. So based on the materials on next week, Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to tell you on Tuesday, Tuesday, right? Yeah. Tuesday, I'm going to tell you your exam will be up to which section and what will be in the exam. Okay. Question, comments? Yes. So the exponent you did in the second exam, we are going to do the same exponents rules again in the third exam. But most of you actually did great in the exponent rules. So I'm hopeful that if you did not get all 35, this time you're going to get all 35. The questions will be similar, not the exact same question. The main idea is of the exponent rules, like what is 1 with any power, what is -1 with any power, what is 0 with any power, and then the rest are multiplication rule, addition rule, division rule, those things. Okay. So the last page of the review sheet was in your second exam, and you'll see that again in your third exam. And your exam is exactly 1 week from today, next week Thursday. Any other question? So far we finished 6.1 to 6.5. We definitely have all the homework to next week Monday and quizzes. Today we're going to do 6.6, which is not bad. It's based on the materials we learned last week. And then 6.7 is what problem you already noticed. So 6.6, 6.7, I'll see whether put the deadline next week Monday, or I should give you 1 week, 1 more week to do them by taking your time. We'll decide that. Okay. So in chapter 6, all we did was learning factoring. We factored 2 terms, 3 terms, 4 terms, and if terms in the highest degree was square, or if you had 2 terms, highest degree was square. Anytime if you polynomial has the highest degree square, we call them quadratic. So here we are going to solve quadratic equation. Previously we factored, and now once you know how to factor, you set each factor equals 0 and then solve for x. So when you set each factor equals 0, there is a rule. In order to set each factor equal to 0, or in order to solve any quadratic equation, the first rule is that we have to have 0 on one side. If you don't have 0 on one side, bring everything to one side, factor, and then solve. So only when you have 0 on one side, then you can solve for x. For example, if you have x minus 3 and let's x plus 1 equals 0, it means that they are saying product of 2 binomial equals 0. So one of them has to be 0. Why? Because observe, if you multiply 2 times 0, the answer is 0. See, 2 and 0, they're 2 numbers, one of them is 0. Or if you multiply 3 times 0, the answer is 0. So say 3 or 0, one of them has to be 0. So anytime if you multiply few things and the result is 0, you always have to have one of them to be 0. For example, you can have 2 times 3 times 0. What's the answer? 0. As long as one of the element in your multiplication, whatever you're multiplying is 0, the answer is 0. Same rule applies here. We are multiplying two binomials and the product is 0. That means definitely one of these has to be 0. Unfortunately, we don't know which one is 0. So we said, well, since we don't know which one is 0, this could be 0, or this one could be 0. Definitely one of them has to be 0 because their product is 0. And now we say, well, any one of them has to be 0. So let's see for each case, what makes that binomial to be 0. It means we solve for x. So when x is 3, this becomes 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. Or when x is negative 1, that becomes 0 because positive 1 plus 1 gives you 0. In other words, anytime if you have 3 or negative 1 in a solution, you have the product to be 0. Okay? And this is true only when the product is 0. It's not true for any other cases. For example, if you have x minus 3 times x plus 1 is 5, can we say it means x minus 3 is 5 or x plus 1 is 5? Can we say that? You may wonder, you may think, well, maybe we can, maybe we cannot, right? You have a doubt in your mind? Let's work with some numbers. What is 2 times 3? 6, right? Does that mean 2 equals 6 and 3 equals 6? Is this true? Is 3 and 6 are the same number? Definitely not, right? So when you multiply few things and the result is a non-zero number, we cannot say each one of them is the same number. Its product is that number, but each one of them definitely is not the same number. So that's why 0 is a special number. Only when if you multiply many things and one of them is 0, then the product can be 0. And this thing is called zero factor property. It means one of the factor has to be 0 in order to have the product to be 0. Okay, clear? So anytime you have product equals 0, we can separate them. But if it's not 0, it cannot separate them. That's the main idea. If the product is not 0, never separate them. Only when the product is 0, separate them. Okay, now about the 0. What does 0 mean? So when you have a polynomial equals 0, that means you're looking for the solution. It means which x value makes the polynomial to be 0. What does that mean? It means your polynomial is crossing the x-axis. So in other words, you're looking for x-intercept. Or that x-intercept has another name, 0. So anytime you see the one, find the 0, or find the x-intercept, or solve for x. All three things means the same thing. You're solving for x. So if you're talking about x-intercept, you should know about the graph. We have an upward parabola. If you have y equals positive x squared, and if you have negative x squared, like many other things, we don't care. The highest degree is negative x squared. Then you have an upside down parabola. Now in upward or upside down parabola, where you're crossing the x-axis, those are the x-intercept or zeros or solution. Okay, all three things or all four things mean same thing. Find the solution, solve for x, find the x-intercept, find the zeros. All four things mean same thing. Get the x alone. See which x values makes the entire term to be 0. This is what you're looking for. And for specifically quadratic, there are three scenarios. Either we have one solution, means we have a parabola that has only one x-intercept, either this way or that way. So we are touching the x-axis, not crossing it. Or we have two solutions. Maybe it's this way or maybe it's that way. So upward or downward doesn't matter. We are crossing the x-axis once. So twice, so you have two solution. Or there is no solution. No solution means either it's strictly above the x-axis or strictly below the x-axis. It's not touching the x-axis. So that's why there is no solution. Solution means x-intercept. And x-intercept means you have to touch it or cross it. So quadratic has only 3 scenarios. And now, since we have all the background knowledge, we are going to solve it. We have the direction says solve for x, or find the x-intercept, or find the zeros of the polynomial. In your exam, you'll have one of these directions. They all mean same thing. Solve for x. So what do you observe? Negative 5x squared plus 80. Let's see. If you ignore the equals 0, let's see you have only negative 5x squared plus 80. What are you supposed to do now? Factor. So your polynomial started with negative. Do you like negative? So you have to factor out a negative. We have x squared and no x, so you cannot pull out any variable. But how about 5 and 80? Can you factor out anything from 5 and 80? 5. So you factor out negative 5. So we have negative 5x squared. We factored out negative 5. They cancel out. We get only x squared. And then we have 80. We factored out negative 5. That means we're dividing by negative 5. So answer has to be negative. 5 goes to 80 how many times? 16. If you don't know, I can do it manually. We have 80 here and 5 here. 5 goes to 8 once. 5 times 1 is 5. We put it here below 8. And then you have to subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. And then we bring down the next number 0. Now 5 goes to 30 how many times? 6. And we have no reminder. So we have perfect 16. And now what do you observe here? What are they? X squared minus 16. Difference of perfect squares. So we can actually factor them more. What two factors we get from x squared minus 16? Good job. Plus 4 minus 4. And we have the coefficient negative 5. So I recommend you to factor first and then solve. Why? Because if you don't factor and you have to take the square root, from my experience, almost 90% students forget to put plus minus. Anytime it is the square root of a variable, you have to put plus minus. So if you forget that rule, you're losing solution. That's why factor and then solve. Now, negative 5 is a number, it doesn't have any variable. So you can simply ignore. By ignoring, it means we are dividing both sides by negative 5. Because it doesn't have any variable. It's just a number. We don't need any number. We only need the thing that has a variable. So negative 5 cancel out. We have x plus 4, x minus 4 equals 0. And now just like before, their product is 0. That means one of them has to be 0. But we don't know which one. So we said, well, probably the first one is 0. Or maybe the second one is also 0. One of them is 0, but we don't know which one. And then we solve for x. So we subtract 4 here, and we add 4 here. that tells us your two solutions, -4 and +4. So this quadratic equation crosses the x-axis twice. One is through -4 and one is through +4. And if you want to see the graph, you don't have to, but if you want to see the graph, we have -x² means upside down. So we have an upside down parabola. This corner here is -4 and this corner here is +4. This is what it means. We have an upside down parabola crossing -4 and +4. Not now. In chapter 11, yes. I was planning to do chapter 6 with chapter 11, but I totally forgot. So I posted the review sheet on chapter 6 and chapter 7. And then last night I was like, oh man, I forgot to change the review sheet. And I was like, well, just forget it. I'll do it next time and stuff. But chapter 6 actually goes with chapter 11. Chapter 6, we are learning about quadratic, and chapter 11 is the rest of the quadratic. But any question on this one? Then it will write -5x equals 0, and that's all for us. No, for quadratic we don't have to. But if you're working with rational, means fraction, then yes we do. We have to definitely check our answer in 3 cases. One is if you're a denominator, and one is radical, if you have a radical, and the other is system of equations. These 3 cases, we should check our solution. Okay, I have 2 more questions. Do you like to try it or do you want to do it together first? Try it? Okay, go ahead. They look similar, but they are not similar. Let me take that attendance. Mariana is here, Martin here, Christopher here, Axel here, Matthews here, Eliza here, Angel here, Handa here, Maria here, Ashley here, Exona here, Jason here, Patty, Sim, Kayla here, Rachel here, Alicia's here, Mariam here, Kay here, Chanel here, Jasim here, Jonathan here. Oh, sorry, Jonathan is not here. End of ready? Let's say it together. What do you observe in the first one? GCF, right? What's the GCF? Good, 2x. What remains?
X.
X minus 2. So product of them equals 0. What do we do next? See, now 2 is not alone, 2 is a variable. 2x. So we take the 2x and set 2x equals 0. And x minus 2 equals 0. Or if you don't like this, if you want to do like this one, then you can divide both sides by 2. So they cancel out. And you have x minus 2 equals 0. It's up to you. Either you can take the 2x that equals 0 or divide by 2 and then only take the x. So x equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0. X equals 0 is already alone, so we don't have to do anything here. We are done. But we have to solve for x in the next one. What do we do? Add the 2. So we have x equals 2. So this quadratic is 0 when x is 0 or x is 2. If you want to see the picture, you don't have to, but the picture is this way. This is 2 and this is 0. It's an upward because of we have positive x square. Did you understand this part? We have 2 as a number, we have the number, so we divide by 2. When we divide by 2, we have x and x minus 2. Here we pull out -5 and then we factored more. Here we factor 2x and we cannot factor anymore. So that's -2.
What? So how can you? So how can you the -5 out? So that you consider it the same. I mean, consider x.
This -5 doesn't have any x. We cannot pull out any x here, right? We only factored out -5 here.
Oh, okay, I get it.
But here we factored out 2x, not only 2. So you take the 2x that equals 0, or divide by 2 first, and then whatever you left to it, set that equals 0.
So if it is, when you factor out any negative number, it's always not.
Any number. If you factor out any number, just get rid of that. But we did not factor out only number, we factored out number and variable. So for variable, you cannot divide by variable. You have to take the variable and set that equals to 0. Because this is one solution. See, we are crossing the x-axis here to 0.
What if it was -2x?
Same scenario. -2x divide both sides by -2, or write -2x equals 0,
-2x.
and then x equals 0. So if you pull out only a number, you can simply get rid of the number by dividing. But if you pull out a variable, then you have to set the variable equals 0. Solve for the variable. You can never divide by a variable. If you divide by a variable, you lose a solution. So you cannot divide by -2x. We have to divide by only number 2. Okay, the next one. What's the GCF this time? So we factor out x, and what remains? X squared minus 4. But what do you observe here? Half x squared, so you have to factor more. What are the two factors we have? X plus 2, x minus 2, and we already factored out the x. So this time we have 3 factors. 1 from the GCF and 2 from the perfect squares. So how many times we have to set them equal 0? 3 times. What's the first one? X equals 0. And we are done because x is already alone. Go ahead, tell me, what do you want to tell me? X plus 20 and then x minus 20. So, huh? -2. And for this one, x equals +2. I don't have space, so I'm just bringing that down.
Oh,
So you have three solutions. X equals 0, x equals -2, and x equals +2. And this is not a quadratic. It's not quadratic because look at the power. What's the highest power here? 3, right? So it's cubic function, not a parabola anymore. When the highest power is 2, we are dealing with parabola, we have 2 solutions maximum. But if the power is not 2, then we don't have 2 solutions. We have power 3, so you have 3 solutions. Okay. So, steps. If you already have everything to one side, you're fine. But if you don't have everything to one side, bring everything to one side. Once you have everything to one side, then factor. After factoring, set each factor equals 0, solve for x. In the first one, we factored out 2x. 2 is a number, we don't need that. So we got rid of the 2 by dividing by 2. Then we have two factors, x and x minus 2. Set them equal, solve for x. In the next one, we could not pull out any number as a GCF. We factored out only x, but we ended up getting a perfect square. So we had to factor the perfect square more. So we got 3 factors from two terms. As a result, you have 3 solutions because of the 3 factors with variables. Try this one. Oh, I had 3 more, so let me write all 3 together. So this is 1, another one is x squared minus x equals 72, 3 x squared plus 7x equals 20. 3 questions. Oh, and these are actually final exam questions. In the final exam, they ask you solve for one quadratic, either using direct factoring or AC or trial. But you have to solve one of them. Oh, and here you can also use quadratic formula because you're solving. What do you don't like in D? So what is the first step? Take it out, get rid of that. So either you can take it out as a common factor or divide everything by -1. 2 choices. Let's say I'm factoring out, okay? So we factor out negative, we get x squared. And then the plus 6x turns into what? Minus 6x. And the minus 8 turns into what? Plus 8. And now this negative doesn't have any variable. It's just a sign. So we can actually divide both sides by negative to cancel that. We have x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. And now your life is easy. All you have to do is factor. Factor, solve. Just to write it down or letting you. Done? No, all 3 or only 1? I don't know. One of them has to be different side. Oh, no. It's positive, right? So according to perfect. So what's wrong with this one? What do you observe first?
anyone else. True. We have to solve here to feel ourselves. That is the to binary computer, right? And they only one subset to sex of and you cannot fill out signature. If you fill out two X, it is two. All of them is over two X.
Oh.
So doesn't have it. So you have to factor which numbers multiply to A to C, combine to negative. So you're doing direct factoring. So first one is direct factoring, second one is direct factoring, the third one is I'm struggling. You're missing your axis. Your axis is stress. Because you see X axis. How can you transform? Multiply to negative. So multiply combine to negative 6. Oh. So what are the
What? Yes. Yes, sir. Okay, 1 second.
You definitely cannot control to that score is not direct factor. That's what I said. Ignore the equals 0. If I said factor, how would you factor x squared plus 6x plus 8? Do you remember factoring from previous section? Two numbers multiply to positive 8 combined to negative 6.
That's right.
So you're going to factor.
Okay, got it.
Direct factoring. We cannot control x because it doesn't even have anything. So we have to have. So what else we can do? How do we factor it? You forgot about factoring.
Come on, I just did factoring. Remember when you have 3 terms, there are so many ways to factor: GCF, direct factoring, SE method, trial method. So you have to factor now by direct factoring, not by GCF, because they don't have any GCF. The first two has X in common, but it doesn't have any X. So you cannot use GCF anymore. You have to go to the direct factoring method. The direct factoring says find two numbers, multiply to 8, combine to negative 6. So you split your x squared into x and x, and you split your 8 into two numbers. Which two numbers multiply to 8, combine to negative 6? Negative 4 and negative 2. So you have two factors binomial, not by GCF, but by direct factoring method. And then you take each of them, set it equals 0. The first one gives you x equals what? 4. And the second one gives you x equals 2. GCF occurs only when you have something in common all terms. Like 2 terms means either GCF or perfect square. For 3 terms, there are many things. GCF, direct factoring, AC, and then trial. So you have to factor first using the knowledge you gained from 6.1 to 6.5, and then 6.5, right? No, 6.6. 6.1 to 6.5, all the things you learned in those 5 sections, you're going to use here.
Can we use any method?
As long as the method is correct. Yes, you can use AC method here. Like you basically use AC method. But you don't have to waste your time because only one sentence. One sentence solution.
How do you beat this?
It doesn't have any GCF. So these have GCF, these have GCF, but this one doesn't have any GCF. Did you guys try the next two? Square minus x equals 72, and the other one? You guys are almost done?
Yes. X is 1. X squared minus 4x. I'm trying to think of one.
What do you think the first is? Look, you don't have to solve. What do you have to see on one side? So do you see zero on one side? Yeah.
No.
Solution number is 72. 8 to 6 is 48.
No.
Do you have it tucked in the sheet? Pick it out.
You have to equal to 0 to try to set it.
You don't have to solve. You have to have zero on one side.
But you have to form.
AC. Can you brush out this? Direct action. So, last is
Yes.
so read out this line. Put the key and the doors. That's great. Two numbers not zero, 6 people 96. Do you have time to go? Did you take the time to look on this? Look at mine here. She has that.
You haven't been using a quiz, though, that's the question.
No, but I haven't need in front, everything gets stuck in the brain. So she is doing brilliant job. The more you see, the better you know.
Is this?
That's therapy at zero on one side. And divide. You choose fine because if you multiply these two and get a 72, there's no way you know what is x. You realize that if you have 2 times 3 equals 0, it doesn't mean 2 times 3 equals 6. It doesn't mean 2 equals 6 and 3 equals 6. Same thing is happening here. The product of 2 things equals 72. It doesn't mean if x is 72 and the other one is 72. So you have to bring 72 much to the other side. So that's it. So remember, you don't have to solve anything. First, you have to see 0 on one side. If you don't see 0, bring everything to one side to see the 0.
And then,
You
okay, no.
see,
Okay, let's check it out. Great. No. Negative 2 equal to 0. Does it make sense?
No.
That's why you get
that becomes like this.
it.
You don't divide it.
It doesn't make sense. That's why I said anytime you like factorial. Anytime you factor in now,
With like that, with the
then you take negative 2 equals 0, two, and you get this. So if we have the next step, 5 steps, subtract 72. Because you have to see 0 not this.
Oh, come on.
No, whatever it is 72, so just set it from both sides, right? Like 72 goes to the left side now. No, x squared minus x minus 72. Now you read the one stuff. The other side is complete. So you can factor and how come you don't because you oh, if you have negative 8 plus 8 will be 0. But if you have 8 plus 8, it will be 0. 16. So that's if you're doing it mentally, you should try doing it visually. It's just 8 literally on both sides. You see, you have multiple. For the next one, it's increased. Three x squared plus 7 is the same. On the left side.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Green AC, you rewrite 3 times, 4 times. Rewrite 3 times, 3 times, but here to faster is rewrite 3 times, 4 times. So let's 7 which means higher. Faster to fill out X, but choose the combination. We have cross theorem on the the thing is not to go about children. I should try to find the process of all. So that's one.
Yeah.
In this group, we factor out x and then x. Same thing in this group, factor out 4 with the sign. So it's plus 4. You can do that question. Oh, what did you see here? What did you So I can do 2 types of this. One is and one is we have we keep our notes. We factor that in before theta, we can factor that in. So if you are doing normal one, the normal one, you keep the keep the plus down, you keep your plus down, and the middle term, the next. So when you put your x, dx.
Yes.
You should They said both of them was so fast. When it's three comes back. We are doing trial. So in the sides, one of one. What is five? Three times so and so 5 times 7 is 5 times 5. But you have other set of right and then two is 2 quality. We have 3 tests for which is skill. And you have 1 test 5 which is science. Information 7 of this is right?
Yeah.
So one of them is 2 plus, one of them is 2 minus. The result is plus. So which one is plus? The bigger one. So that means 5 has to be minus. And since 2 is plus, you can kill from 3 and 4. So these are positive orders. And what sign for that? And what's in minus to that? So 3 plus 3 are 5. Almost. The sun always. And the bigger one is the middle. That's the middle always. Always. And then depending on what result you want, the second sign, it depends. It doesn't have anything to do with it. So here we have structure. Close enough, but the problem is we cannot factor out 3. Factoring out 3 means all of these are divisible by 3. It's going to give us 7 by 3. So 3 and factor. So you have 2 choices. Either we do AC method, direct AC method, or VRC method, or trial. We cannot factor directly. You can put it directly only in the weird. I mean, right, it's wrong, remember it's weird. It's weird for several reasons. One of the reasons is 27/60 does not result. The other is we multiply x times x with x squared. But look how many did we? So you need to put 3 in front of both of them. But then one of them is divisible by 3. Which factor is divisible by 3? So you divide this by 3 and we can run So 3 times 4 is 0, plus 1 is 5. So which one is positive? 0 or 5? The middle sum always goes to the divisor. Oh, yeah, and the plus. Yeah. So then it would be. Because you multiply this by like 7. That's like plus 4. Right. And then you say. I got you there. Explain. Wait, equal signs. Yeah, almost. Almost. No, I got that. I got this one. We are. Okay. Instead, okay, this is x squared, right? So these two have to have x. Then one x over 2 is multiplying by that by 5, right? But that can be the same one as the other. So these two
Okay, got it. I got it. I'm doing it wrong. Figure it out so I can do it.
So I do.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you're doing weird one. So that is right to problem. So write down this. Now this is third one is this. But here's the problem here. X times x squared. How many x squared is this? Yes. So it's 3 complex. Then one of them has to be equal to which factor is equal to the first one, the second one. So you can write so much. What do you have in the first one? Oh yeah. So 3 divided by 3 is x, and 3 divided by 2 is x plus 4. In factoring, you have so many ways to manage. Okay, let's do them together. What do I have next? Oh, 6.7. Cool. So we don't see a 0, but we want to see a 0. Our first step is subtract 72 from both sides of the equal sign. So we get x squared minus x minus 72 equals 0. And now it's a simple quadratic, so we can factor directly. The x squared turns into x and x. And how about the 72? Which two numbers multiply to negative 72 combined to negative 1?
-9, +8. So 9 times 8 is 72, 9 minus 8 is 1. So we get either x minus 9 is 0 or x plus 8 is 0. To solve for x, we did the opposite. So either we add 9 to both sides or we subtract 8 from both sides. So that gives us our x equals 9 or x equals -8. That was easy. Now the last one, there are so many ways you can do it. You can do it using regular AC method, weird AC method, or trial and guess method. All three will work here. Or if you want, you can use quadratic formula. So you have 4 ways to solve this. But what is our step 1? It doesn't matter which step you do. What is step 1? See a 0. All 4 methods required to have a 0 on one side. So we have 3x squared plus 7x minus 20 equals 0. And now I'm going to show you all 3 methods to refresh your memory. Method 1, trial. Okay. In trial method, even though you don't have multiple choices, but these are smaller numbers, so you can work with them. The 3x, 3 is a prime number, so it's definitely 3x and 1x. And 20 has 2 choices, either 120 or 45. Let's work with one of them first. If it doesn't work, then the other one. So let's work with 45. See what happens if you do this. X times 4 is 4x. X times 3x times 5 is 15x. Do you get 7 from there? No. So my arranging was wrong. So let's rearrange. 3, 4, and 4x4. 3 times 4 is 12x. 5 times x is 5x. Can you get 7x from here? Yes. What sign 7x has? Plus. So which of these has to be plus? 12 or 7? 12 or 5? 12. What sign 5 has to have then? Negative. So since 5 is negative, we got 5 from this pair. So this 5 has to be negative. And since our 12 is positive, so 4 has to be positive. Once we decide their sign, now all you have to do is put them together in opposite box. So 3x and 1x. 3x we multiplied with 4, so we cannot put them together. So 4 has to be on the other box. That means -5 has to be in this box. So +4, -5, x, 3x. But we are not factoring or solving, so we still have this equals 0. So we have x plus 4, 0. We subtract 4. That gives us x equals -4, one of them. The other one is 3x minus 5, 0. Add 5 to both sides. We get 3x equals 5. Divide by 3. So that tells us another solution is x equals 5/3. So this is trial method. Now after the trial method, next easy method in my opinion is the weird method. So I'm going to show the weird SE method now. It's called weird because we do some weird stuff. But the step 1 is same. We need to bring everything to one side. So first weird stuff we do is we don't write x, we don't write the number, we write simply x squared. X squared plus 7x. And the next weird stuff is instead of writing 20, we write 20 times 3, the AC. Which is 60. So this is So it says we have ax squared plus bx plus c. This turn into x squared plus bx plus ac. So we rewrite this line as this. So we don't write a, but the c turns into ac. Why you do that? Because if you do that, it becomes the normal, the simple factoring method. So we can factor it directly. Two numbers multiplied to negative 60 combined to 7. So we need a timetable. 60 is 1 times 60. None of them give 7. 2 times 30. No. 3 times 10. Sorry, 3 times 10 is 30, not 60. 3 times 20. 4 times 15. 5 times 12. Which pair gives you, and 6 times 10? Which pair gives you 5, 7? Only this pair, right? 5 and 12. So it's definitely 12 and 5, but you have to decide their sign. Which one has to be positive? 12, because the middle sign is positive. That means 5 has to be negative. And then we put x and x. So we do the second weird stuff here. If you multiply x times x, we get x squared, but they gave us 3 of them. So now it's time to put 3 on both of them. And then we do the next weird stuff. One of them is divisible by 3. Always, after you put your a, one of them will be divisible by a, always. So the first one is divisible by a. As a result, we get 1x plus 4. And the second one is fine, 3x minus 5 equals 0. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4 weird stuff. As a result, our life became easier. The answer is negative 4 and positive 5 over 3. Okay, it's weird, but the more you do, the better you'll get used to it. It's better than the normal AC method. Now let me refresh your memory the normal AC method. The normal AC method is not bad. It's just a little bit longer. Regular AC method. 3x squared plus 7x minus 20 equals 0. We rewrite our second term using AC. AC is 3 times negative 20. That gives us negative 60. And we have 12 and 7. So 12 and 5. Positive 12, negative 5. So this becomes positive 12x and negative 5x. But we still keep our first term and we still keep our last term. So step 1, rewrite 3 terms into 4 terms. Why? Because our goal is to do grouping. And then you look at each group individually. In the first group, let's see. In the first group, what's the common factor? 3x. What remains? Plus 4. In the second group, what do you do? What do you don't like? Negative. So you have 2 factor the negative. And now between 5x and 20, what's the GCF? 5. So what remains then? Plus 4. It's plus 4 because you factored out the negative 5. So sign has to change. Now still in both groups, do you see the same factor? Which one? So you factor out x plus 4. Then what remains in both groups? X minus 5. See? Exact same thing what you have there is there. And then do the same thing. You set each of them equals 0. 3x minus 50. That gives us x is -4 and x is 5/3. So in the exam, it's your choice which method you have to follow. I'm not going to specify. But except for one question, the trial and guess, you have to follow trial and guess method. Okay? Any question? So you have 3x minus 5 equals 0. Your goal is to get this x alone. That means you don't need the 3 and -5. Which one you have to get rid of first? The 3 or the -5? So what you're going to do? How are you going to get rid of that? Add 5. So this one. You have 3x is 5. And now to get the x alone, what do you have to do? Divide by 3. So this is x factor. No problem. You see, I refreshed your memory with all the things we learned in chapter 6. For 2 terms, 2 choices, GCF or thinking, perfect square. For 3, there are so many options. 4 choices I give you. Direct factoring, SE, VRSE, trial. So whatever, you have to remember these 4 things in this chapter and the 2 things for 2 terms. Anytime you have 4 terms, it's GCF or grouping, that's it. So these are all the rules you must remember for your exam. Until August 14. Our final exam will be August 14. Unless you take your pre-calculus. For pre-calculus, yes, you have to remember them. Because we are going to do factoring again in pre-calculus. Okay, now the question is, why in the art we waste our time learning all of these? When in our real life we actually use them? Well, we use them many times. Some of them you have to use it, like me, if you become a teacher, you have to use it. Or some of you, if you become engineer, you're going to use it. If you become architecture, you need to use them. Or even simple cases, you have to use it. What simple cases? For example, fun questions like this. Let's say you're trying to have fun. So the sentence says the sum of numbers and square is 156. What's that number is? So we have 2 numbers. Sum means what? Plus, minus, multiplication, division. Plus. So we are adding 2 things. A number and its square. If that number is x, what is its square? X square. X equal 156. So if we add one number with square, it becomes 156. Can you guess the number? Why we didn't have to guess it? Because we know how to solve it, right? We learned our solving quadratic formula. So what do you think the first step is? We want to see 0 in one side, so we subtract 156 from both sides. Now on the left side, the order is wrong, right? So let's fix the order. We have to have the bigger power first. So x squared plus x, and then 156 equals 0. So it becomes simple quadratic equation. That means we can factor directly. And now we have to rack our brain. Which 2 numbers multiply to 156 combined to 1? Let's break it down. 156. Which 2 numbers comes in your mind when you see 156? Any 2 numbers. Which 2 numbers you think multiply to 156? 6. Let's see, is it divisible by 6? 6 goes to 15 twice, right? 2 times 6 is 12. When you subtract, you get 36. 6 goes to 36, 6. Yeah, it is divisible by 6. So 156 is 6 and 26. But if you subtract them, do you get 1? No. Now, let's see 26 is the bigger one. When you say 26, which two numbers comes in your mind? Which two number multiply to 26? 7 times 8 is 56. Which two numbers multiply to 26? 26. 2 and 13. Now, how about I put these two together? What do you have? 12. Now, if you compare 12 and 13, do you get 1 from there? That means the two numbers you're looking for that combine to 156, combine to 1 and multiply to 156 is 12 and 13. Now you have to decide the sign. The plus sign has to go to the bigger one. Since you want 1, so 12 has to be minus. So x minus 12, 0, x plus 13, 0. So what is x? -12 and -13. You can check for fun. Is this true? So x and its square has to be 156. If x is 12, what is 12 squared? 12 times 12. And what is 144 and 12? 651. Wow, it works. 12 and its square is 156. And now it is -13. So -13 plus, what is -13 squared? 156. Right? Or 96, which one? I forgot. 196? Sorry, 169. I'm confused. 14 is 156. No, I forgot. 12 is 144. I think 156. No, not 156. 169, right? 169. If you subtract 9 minus 6 is 9 minus 3 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. 156 works. So yeah, both of them works. So either it's 12 or -13. These two, if you add its square, the result is 156. You can play this game with smaller number with your friends or with kids. Smaller number. Instead of 156, let's think about something easier. One number and square multiplied to, let's say 6. What is that number? One number and square add up to 6. What that number is? Which number, if we add with its square, the result is 6? I gave you the smallest number. Come on, guys. Definitely 2. 2 and its square is 4, right? What is 2 plus 4? 6. So you can play the game with smaller number, but for bigger number, yes, we can use quadratic methods. Let's see the next scenario when you use it. Okay, let's say you're working with carpentry, or what do you call them when you paint the house? What do you call them? Painter, right? Or something? Painter. Let's say you're working with painter. And then you need to know the dimension of the room or the house in order to figure out how much paint you need. So this is one scenario. The length of a rectangular, let's say, house is 5 centimeters less than 4 times its width, and the area is 6. What's the dimension? Let's draw that rectangle or rectangular room. let's say this is length and this is width. Suppose, okay? Suppose this is length and this is width. It says length is 5 centimeter less. So length is 5 minus or minus 5, which one? 5 less. For width means for W. And what does 5 centimeter less mean? Is it 5 minus or minus 5? Is means equal. So length is 4W minus 5. 5 less means minus 5, not 5 minus. So minus 5, then what? 4 times its width. So length here is 4W minus 5. And W is the width. So W is the width and length is 4W minus 5. They gave us the area. How much is the area? 6. But in terms of rectangle, how do you find the area of a rectangle? Length times width. So length times width is 6. But what is L? What is L in terms of length, in terms of width? This L is 4W minus 5. So I did nothing. I just rewrote what information they gave us. They told us length is 5 less than 4 width. It means 4 width minus 5. The area is 6. It means length times width is 6. But what is length? It's 4W minus 5. And now from there, we are going to work with quadratic. We definitely cannot say it means W equals 6. Can you see W equals 6 here? No, because remember 2 times 3 is 6. It doesn't mean 2 is 6 or 3 is 6. Same scenario here. The product is 6 doesn't mean each of them is 6. Instead, we need to work with distribution. We have to distribute the W so that we get a square. So 4W squared minus 5W equals 6. So definitely it's a quadratic. This is my square. It looks so weird. So definitely it's a quadratic because our highest degree is 2. We have 4W squared minus 5W equals 6. From the previous section, what do you think our step now is? Good. We need to bring the 6 from both sides, from the right side. So 4W squared minus 5W minus 6 equals 0. And now you have so many choices. Factor by AC method, weird AC method, trial guess method, or quadratic formula. So what do you think I should show you? Which method? Factoring? But for factoring, you have to use AC method. It is not directly factorable. So for AC method, there are 2 choices. Normal AC method or weird AC method. Which method you want me to show you? Weird one? I love the weird one. In the weird one, we are going to ignore this 4. And this 6 will turn into AC. So W squared, the first weird thing we do. Maybe let's erase this. The 4W squared suddenly becomes 1W squared. minus 5w, and the 6 suddenly becomes negative 6 times 4, which is negative 24. So we convert A into 1 and C into AC. Why we do that? Because if we have this, then we can factor directly. And our life becomes easier. Our variable is W, so we put W on both, and then we find two numbers. Which two numbers multiply to 24 combined to 5? 8 and 3? Negative 8, positive 3. Then we do the second weird stuff. We put the 4 suddenly on both of them. But one of them is divisible by 4. Which one? The first factor or the second factor? The first one. So we divide by 4. We get W minus 2. And this one stays same. Okay. And then we take W minus 2 equals 0, 4W plus 3 equals 0. That tells us what is W? 2. And here, what is W? Negative 3/4. Do you accept both of them? Is there anything wrong with any of the W's? Exactly. We are dealing with real life. So width can't be negative. So we have to disregard these negative results. It's not possible. That means our width is 2, and that tells us what is our length. Length is 4 times the width minus 5. So 8 minus 5, which is 3. And this is what they're looking for, dimension, means length and width. So this is 2 by 3. This is 2, and this is 3. Obviously, my picture is not right, so let me actually fix it. This should be the width, and this should be the length, 4W minus 5. So length is 3 and width is 2. Any question? Oh, that's why when you multiply, the area is 6. So we should have known. Our choices was, since the area is 6, it has to be either 1 by 6 or 2 by 3. If it was whole number. For fraction, there are many choices. But for whole numbers, these are the only 2 choices we have. And our answer is 2, 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So this is the second scenario. Now comes the third scenario, which is the most important one. And in the exam, I'm going to give you something like this one and the next one. The next one is a fun one. They want us to find the parameter of this shape. And this one is story. If you go to pre-calculus, you have to deal with this story. You're going to see this story again in the pre-calculus. It says there is a height function. You have a tall building. And from the top of the building, You're throwing a ball. When you throw a ball, it goes up, make a U shape, and then comes down here on the ground. Now the height of the ball at any point, like at here, at any time, what's the height of the ball is given by this equation. When height is 0, so when the time is 0, means you did not throw the ball yet, the height is 25. It means you're standing at 25, what, 25 feet, what? We can measure the feet or centimeter meter. Let's say feet. So at the beginning, you're standing at 25 feet tall building, and then something came in your head. You decided to throw the ball. You're throwing the ball, and then after each second, how high the ball is from the ground is given by this equation. And now they're saying how many seconds after throwing the ball it will hit the ground. So you throw the ball, and then at some point, it definitely will be on the ground. After how many seconds? So we are given the height of the ball is negative 5t squared plus 20t plus 25. When the ball hits the ground, what's the height of the ball? 0. That's the most important thing to figure out. When the ball hits the ground, what's the height? And since Eliza is so smart, he gave us the answer. The answer is 0. So we have 0 equals negative 5t squared plus 20t plus 25. So we have a nice quadratic equation. It looks bad, right? The numbers are b, 25, 20. But what do you observe? They are what? Divisible by what?
-5.
Good. All of these are divisible by -5, and we want to get rid of the negative. So we should divide all of them by -5. So -5, -5, -5, -5. Your life will become much simpler. The negative 5t squared become 1t squared. The 20t divided by 5 gives you what?
4.
Positive or negative? Really? You have positive 20 divided by -5. Negative 40. And how about the last one? Positive 25 divided by -5. -5. And now, don't you just love it? It's so simple. Can you think of two numbers? Multiply 2, 5, combine to 4. -5, +1. T minus 5, 0, t plus 1, 0, plus 5, -1, time can't be negative. So we have to disregard this whole thing. So solution is 5. That means after throwing the ball, 5 seconds after throwing the ball, it will hit the ground. So the ball has a very high speed. It takes only 5 seconds. Or maybe the ball is too heavy. You know, the heavier the item is, the faster it drops. So maybe it has a lot of weight. So this will be in the exam. And the next exam question is the last question we are going to go over. Matthews.
thought the multiple has to be for.
In multiplication, the order doesn't matter. In addition, subtraction, the order does. But multiplication, no. And I put negative first because here I have negative in the middle. So negative first. But you can switch the position. The last question, they gave us how many sides it has? 1, 2, 3, 4. Quadrilateral. They gave us a quadrilateral and all 4 sides, they just wanted to make our life harder. So instead of giving us the length directly, they gave us equations for each length. Okay. They gave us equations for each side, but they gave us the parameter. What is parameter? What does parameter mean? The sum of all sides. They told us how much is the total length we have if we combine all 4 sides. Then how much is each side? So what do you think our first step? How do you start? We add all 4 sides. So we have x squared minus 2x plus 2x minus 2 plus x plus 4 plus x plus 9. And if you add all the sides, how much is the total? 35. Why couldn't they just give us the numbers? See how life would have been easier. No. What do you think our next step is? Combine like terms. So we have 1x squared. Oh, we have plus 2x minus 2x. They cancel out. And we have 1x plus 1x. How many x's? 2x. And we have minus 2 plus 4 plus 9 plus 11 equals 35. You did great so far. How about next? We want to see 0. So we have to subtract 35. So we have x squared plus 2x. 11 minus 35 minus 44. Oh, 24, yeah. And now we can read. Oh, it becomes simple quadratic. Any factor? Multiply to 24, combine to 2. 2 numbers. What are they? 6 and 4. Signs? Plus 6 minus 4. So x plus 6 equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. Subtract 6, add 4. So x is negative 6, x is positive 4. Now let's see each side. Side number 1. Let's start with the smallest one, x plus 4. This one. How much is this when our x is negative 6? Negative 6 plus 4, that gives negative 2, right? Can you have a length side with negative sign? So we wasted our time. It's not possible. But how about 4? When x is, this side becomes 8. So this is 8. Now let's see the next side. X plus 9. 4 plus 9. 13. So this side is 13. Let's do the easier one, next one. We have 2x minus 2 means 2 times 4 minus 2, which is 8 minus 2, 6. And now the last one, x squared minus 2x. So 4 squared minus 2 times 4. 16 minus 8 is 8. So it wasn't bad, right? And you're going to see this also in the exam. So 2 questions from the application. Definitely 1 problem from 6.7. Sorry, 6.6, the solving equation. So what we learned today from here, definitely 2 questions you'll have in the exam. And the final exam, 1 question from 6.6. We actually don't have any question from here in the final exam. So this section is for fun for you guys. But the homework has many other weird type of questions. So for 6.7, I'm going to put the deadline next week, Monday. Okay. And how about 6.6, the solving? What do you think? Can you do it by this Monday, or you need 1 more week? 1 more week? Okay. So your homework for next Monday is 6.1 to 6.5. Okay. Do all the homework and quizzes.
Have a good one.
Have a good weekend. Be safe tomorrow. See you again next week.